watching the Big East on ESPN. Tonight, from the Philadelphia skyline all the way to the main line, Finneran Pavilion side of our broadcast, where it's the Villanova Wildcats playing host to Queens in the home opener of the Kevin Willard era. And we say happy Saturday evening, courtside from the Pavilion, alongside the former St. Joe's head coach, Phil Martelli, Matt Martucci. Well, anybody that watched this Villanova team on Monday night against 8th-ranked BYU knows they're talented, they're deep, they just need to get healthy, Phil.
But one of the things that's going on here is it's a guard-centric offense. Kevin Willard likes that. He really likes that. And the test tonight is against a Queens team, ASUN preseason favorite in their first year of eligibility for the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. They'll have to contend with one of Villanova's best shooters who almost helped them take down the Cougars the other night. That's Bryce Lindsey.
Bryce Lindsey, 5 threes on the road. Let's remember, at James Madison, he was the freshman of the year in the league. This is his third season. Texas A&M, James Madison, and here he's thriving in Kevin Willard's system.
And speaking of thriving, how about the ASUN preseason player of the year, Chris Ashby, someone that Grant Leonard found off the scrap heap at JUCO.
It is just an unbelievable story. I had to double check the numbers. He took 65 two-point shots last year and still averaged 19 a game. ASUN preseason player of the year. This year, 20 of 22 shots from 3.
Our starting lineups this evening are brought to you by Jeep. Jeep, there's only one. And we start with the visiting Queens Royals. Just talked about Chris Ashby, can fill it up from the outside. Joining him in the lineup, Yoav Berman, who's a native of Tel Aviv, Israel, and somebody that Kevin Willard very, very concerned about when we talked to them about their scouting report. And then Cam Clark, one of their best defenders. Nasir Mann, the high flyer, one of the best athletes in the ASUN. And over to the host Cats. 11 new players on this Villanova roster to begin the Kevin Willard era. And everybody knows about Bryce Lindsey, who we just talked about. And of course, Caden Lewis, their stud point guard, who struggled a little bit early in that BYU matchup, but hopefully going to be much better tonight in their home opener.
Caden Lewis versus VCU in their exhibition game was a one and done. He looked like a one and done that day.
And Duke Brennan, the Grand Canyon transfer, Matt Hodge, the son of the former Old Dominion great Odell Hodge. Everybody all fired up to get things started here in the Finneran Classic multi-team event. Villanova and Queens, and of course Sacred Heart and Duquesne. Officiating crew tonight, a veteran one, the crew chief Nathan Farrell, Tim Smith, and John Cowell Jr. as we get a look at Kevin Willard. Year number 1, trying to change the course of this Villanova program. Has taken both Seton Hall and Maryland to the NCAA tournament and trying to bring Villanova back to the dominance that it once enjoyed.
And one of the beauties is he's a basketball coach. So much is going on. We think of our coaches as general managers and deal makers. Kevin Willard is a basketball coach.
And meanwhile, Grant Leonard waited his turn at Queens, 6 years as the associate head coach, and now his 4th season on the bench. Made it to their league semis last year, picked to win the league this year. Nova wins the tap. Let's have some fun to open this up.
Come on, Matt.
This is the stud freshman, Caden Lewis. Lindsey, who ended up transferring from James Madison. 8 to shoot here for the Cats to open up. Good hard hedge there for Queens. And nice drop down.
What a nice pass.
Hodge on the board to get Villanova started. And Queens turns it right over.
Matt, right away, at the end of shoot-around today, Villanova went over this press. They want to give them a lot of press action. Great awareness there by Hodge to finish that shot with the shot clock running down.
Now, just to give you some context, packed Finneran Pavilion. Queens plays in an arena that when it's packed is about 1,600 people. So going to go at him early and often. Lindsay going to have to be the bailout. The rise up and back of the iron. Lewis with the floorboard. And quickly Villanova up 4-0.
Talking to Coach Leonard, number one key told us last night, we must rebound their misses.
One of the first things that you said last night, as we get a quick look here at Caden Lewis. Hold that thought.
Tracking that loose ball. It's really important, all young players out there, catch loose balls. Don't slap at them. Well done.
Just thinking about one of the first things you said last night walking into Queens practice. You said this might potentially be a physical mismatch, and then you looked at their guys and said, no, probably not.
I didn't think that. I thought on tape, Matt, when I watched Queens early, I thought they were thin and small after watching Villanova, but then up close watching practice, as we did last night, I thought they could match. This is another thing that we're going to see all day. We're going to see pressure from Queens. They do not want this to be comfortable.
Yeah, Grant Leonard told us they'll go right at them. The lone holdover from last year for Villanova, Tyler Perkins, the Penn transfer. This is Brennan again. That shot clock inside 10. Lindsay, good shed of the defender, and Parker down with the rebound, and a quick second team foul on Kevin Willard's guys.
We should see pressure here because it's a dead ball. I'm surprised that Villanova's not pushing up into a pressure action.
I know you went into it a little bit, Phil, but what are you looking at both sides here early on?
Well, I think that for Queens, it's how many threes can they get up, and comfortable threes.
Here's one right here, Nasir Mann. Pretty comfortable look, but spun it off to Brennan.
For Villanova, shot selection. They were not happy about Monday night's shot selection.
Yeah, what did Kevin Willard say? Too early, right?
Well, he thought that guys rushed, or at the end of the clock, they weren't calm enough to take an open shot.
Brennan double team, passes out of it, and there's Hodge. And a quick travel here on Queens.
It's 2 turnovers, but let's not miss this. We have Duke Brennan putting on a little Wilt Chamberlain show. Why? 15 rebounds the other night, already 2 dimes. He's got 2 assists already. If he rolls middle and throws a dipper dunk up there, I'm losing it.
Yeah, you're walking to the parking lot. Nice step through Lewis. 4 early points, 8-0 Nova. Well, you're an opposing head coach. You're in this building. You just want to try and get to the under 16, right?
That's exactly right, Matt. You play the game in segments.
Berman to the window, score it +1.
Lewis on a penetration. Footwork, which Villanova spends a great deal of time with. That step through. He has an old game, Lewis. An old footwork game.
Berman takes care of the three-point play, and that makes sense if you ever spend a little time with him.
No question.
Just a mature young man. They brought him to Big East Media Day, which you typically don't do with a freshman.
No, because he has to be in philosophy class.
It's all those Gen Eds, Phil.
Augustinians taking some liberal, they're being a little bit liberal now that they have a pope in place.
It got batted around, and Berman able to recognize and grab the floorboard. Queens still trying to settle in. See if the three-point play from Berman will help. Good hands for Perkins. And a little touchdown pass from Brennan. Score it plus the foul. Kind of big you love to have on your team.
Just a wonderful pass ahead. Get your eyes up. Get your eyes up as a player. Find the rim. Matt, to your point, we're going to start to see the depth here with Villanova, right? So we have 2 subs already.
Yeah, the ability to play potentially 10-11 in talking to Kevin Willard. Although no Chris Jeffrey tonight. The freshman dealing with a sprained ankle. Still don't have the Temple transfer Zion Stanford, the West Catholic product. Perkins completes the three-point play. It almost feels like you neutralized what Berman did for Queens. Able to break the pressure. Ashby still yet to really do anything.
Terrific close out there by Perkins.
Shot clock down to 10. Askew with good defense for the Cats. And nice cut. Parker layup plus the foul.
Parker sets that up by setting a great flare screen.
Now early on, Villanova up by 6. Tyler Perkins, a key piece that they needed to retain. Kevin Willard did it. He has the Cats up 6. Big East men's basketball is brought to you by Jeep. Jeep, there's only one. Now back at Finneran Pavilion. Kevin Willard's guys out to what's a 6-point lead. Thanks to most recently a 3-point play from Tyler Perkins. Hired back in late March to try and turn this thing around, get Villanova's program to the heights that it enjoyed under Jay Wright. Took both Maryland and Seton Hall to the NCAA tournament, 7 total appearances, was just in the Sweet 16 last year, had a pretty good player in Derek Queen, and now is on the main line.
Well, Kevin is a basketball coach. I said that in the opening. Everything he does, he breathes about the game, and the practices and the shoot around, well organized, but very, very detailed. You're going to see that. And I also have to say this. I admire Kevin Willard. To wear a suit in this building and not a sweatsuit like everybody else, knowing that the best dressed coach of all time was on that sideline. He's emulating Jay Wright.
By the way, I admire that you walked into this building tonight.
I have no problem.
No lucky rabbit's foot or anything before you walked in here?
I walk in here thinking like, yeah, I had Jameer one night in here. We were fine that night. All the other times, it was my fault.
Avante Parker, the Georgia Southern transfer, takes care of the 3-point play, 2-possession game.
And Matt, here's the 1-3-1. Coach Leonard said to us, about 10 possessions for the game, you'll show the 1-3-1.
Yeah, they use the length of Maban Jabril, and it ends up forcing a Villanova turnover. The Long Beach State transfer, Dev Askew, along with the Caden Lewis, Bryce Lindsey coming back in. Tafara Gapare, the Maryland transfer Malachi Palmer, and the Grand Canyon transfer Duke Brennan for Villanova.
Big development to watch, Matt. Ashby does not have a shot yet.
You figure they can't stay in the game if that continues, right?
There we go.
And there it is, speak of the devil.
And why a great screen in the middle of the lane. What a release.
9-3 of the year for the ASUN, a preseason player of the year, who came in shooting 40% from the outside. Talked about it briefly at the top. Kevin Willard very concerned about both he and Berman. Nothing concerning about that from a Villanova standpoint. Brennan, the roll and the layup. And a little arm bar from Watford. We're going the other way.
Maybe out of bounds, out of bounds.
Excuse me.
Great close, inside foot turn, raise up. Again, interesting. Player development at Villanova, they work on that little lob pass, that little hook lob.
Something that they were known for quite a bit in terms of the guys they developed under Jay Wright. Lindsay way off target, but Brennan, that's what he does. Had 15 boards the other night, but a shot clock violation.
15 boards in a man's game. That BYU lineup looked like, wow. I don't know that I've seen college kids that look like that. Their physicality was amazing.
I said this to you, and we'll share it with the folks at home, was texting with John Linehan, Chester great, and now BYU assistant. I said, is that kid 45 years old or what? Yeah, athletes aplenty Monday night out in Las Vegas. Lindsay almost had a steal. Watford, and from the outside, sticks it.
Kid can really pass, and is growing in confidence from game 1 to game 3 now. Interesting twist, Matt, by the way. Hodge playing a small ball 5 for Villanova.
And knowing his pedigree, maybe not that surprising. Devontae Parker hand in there to knock that out. Shot clock at 10.
Sharing the ball, Queens. That was a big part of their identity. They really want to share the ball. They were looking for balance tonight, not to be on the shoulders of Ashby all night or Berman all night. They wanted balance.
This is Askew, who was on a minutes restriction the other night, coming off of injury. Off the kick out and way off target. Malachi Palmer, another shot clock violation, second one for the Cats. Third Villanova turnover. Queens has given it away, what's 4 times? Appreciate Kevin Willard's approach to building this roster.
And the idea also of this game, right? How do you get the jitters out? Home game, coming off a loss. Got a lot of young guys, first time in the building. So what do? You press.
Said he didn't want to go out and get like 9 or 10 seniors. Wanted guys that can contribute to the build, and there's Hodge, one of them, score it, and one. Good start for Matthew Hodge.
Really small detail here, but Hodge is doing a great job catching the ball. It sounds so simple, but when you're watching games, watch how many balls are dropped or bobbled. Catching the ball is a skill. It's a ball skill.
Everything with this game probably sounds simple until you get paid to be a basketball coach, right?
Well, or get paid to be a player nowadays.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Should I have said that? Was that not correct?
Sixth turnover for Queens. Done a good job early on, though, the A-Sun preseason favorite hanging in here.
They might be holding back a little bit. I expected a little bit more trapping in the full court from what we saw the last 2 days in their workouts.
Lindsay off the bounce. Little secondary cut for Hodge. Give him 8 to pace everybody. And aggressive out at center court, fouls the 2-time transfer Gus Larson, who's newly in for Queens.
On that last Hodge bucket, it's called a slot cut. They come from the 45-degree angle and get to the front of the rim. Right there he is. You see him come from the back of the picture into the play. Again, taught. Player development is a big part of Kevin Willard's program.
How big is that jump stop to start that?
That's in the Villanova DNA.
I remember watching video of preseason when Jay Wright was attending practice. He said, we got to do some jump stops. Coach Wright's here. Perkins back in for the Cats. Tafara Gapare sits down.
A lot of combinations here in the first 7.5 minutes.
Oh, and that's by design, right? Said he's still trying to figure out what works.
Amen.
Larson unloads from 3. Floorboard, but there's a Caden Lewis right on cue. Already 4 points for the stud freshman. Brennan's been good early on too, nearly traveled there. And got it off the pick and roll, but traveled first, says Tim Smith.
Brennan's screen on that left side was, that guy's gonna have to check his fillings here. Yeah, he did travel at the cup.
Watford double teamed. Shot clock cut in half for the visitors from Charlotte. And knocked out of bounds. Now still a 2-possession game. This is a staple, Phil Martelli.
There's no question about it. The cut by Hodge, land on 2, finish.
The home of the Big East tournament.
You guys have a chance to be part of the greatness.
Are you telling me there's no magic in this house tonight?
The best basketball conference in the country, bar none. That's why we came here. That's all.
Sir, it seems that the Gladiator is getting a lot of positive social sentiment.
Innovation changes everything. With one investment, you can access the NASDAQ 100 innovators who are rethinking the world. Before investing, carefully read and consider fund investment objectives, risks, charges, expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com.
– 17-12, Villanova on top of Queens, here to open up the Finneran Classic. Matt Martucci, Phil Martelli, and the phrase Villanova tough, I think, applies to Duke Brennan.
There's no question, the sharing of the ball, the awareness to step through, both times, pass ahead. Young fella averaged 11 points a game last year at Grand Canyon.
And we talked about the 15 rebounds. You think anybody told him how cold it gets in Philadelphia in the wintertime?
You don't want to let him know. It's an indoor sport, Matt. Come on, please.
Queens out of the timeout. And Nasir Mann off the bounce to bring the visitors to within a possession again.
Terrific execution of baseline out of bounds. They lifted him from the box and cleared, allowed him to drive to his strong hand.
First bucket for the younger brother of the former Florida Gator, who now plays in the NBA with the Hornets, Trey Mann.
Trey Mann was given the ultimate compliment by his coach. He called him Josh Hart. That name means a lot around here.
Yeah, it certainly does.
As well it should.
It means a lot in New York these days, too.
That's what I hear.
Good bounce game for Lindsay, off the window and one.
Some guys can just score. The bounce, the Larson reaches, and guards are taught when the big reaches, you go at his hip.
You know, it's
High
funny.
Finish.
You walk into a game talking about what somebody's good at. We're talking about Bryce Lindsay and his ability to shoot from the outside. All he's done is show us the other facets of his game tonight.
He has a lot to his game.
5 now for Lindsay. Completes that three-point play. And that's out of bounds. Off of Queens and Carson Schweiger. Excuse me.
Dive the passing lane by Tyler Perkins. Great. He got in the receiver's vision is what happened. As he dove through that lane, the receiver lost sight of the ball. And then you pick it up late. It's almost like playing center field at dusk. You lose the ball and pick it up late, and every once in a while there's an error.
Phillies ended up having a pretty good center fielder, though, on the back end.
I thought you were going somewhere else. With the Phillies had a pretty good error at the end.
No. I want to stay on these broadcasts, Phil.
I'm with you. So do I. I also want to parade on Broad Street, though.
Understood. Foul after the Perkins miss.
Perkins has that left-hand jumper with a little bit of a fadeaway, so he can get it over a bigger guy.
Bit of war down low early on. This time Larson on the inbounds. Handed the cookie jar and a foul on Queens.
Larson's an interesting guy. He was terrific against Winthrop. And I think both of their bigs, in fact, I know this, both of their bigs are shooting over 75% coming into the game.
Yeah, 13 in that opener for Gus Larson, but just picked up his second personal and has to go to the bench. Lindsay just had the last three-point play, give him the 15-footer. Lead extending for the Cats, it's their largest. How dangerous is this if you're Queens?
Well, again, you're trying to get to each media timeout, and as Grant Leonard told us, we have to keep contact.
Jabril with a nice drop off.
He wants to be in this game at half.
Schweiger got the bucket. First two for the redshirt sophomore from Overland, Kansas, Overland Park. There's actually a twin. His brother Cooper plays at Wake Forest. Halfway point of the first half. Matt Martucci, Phil Martelli. Just getting started here on the main line. Askew drawing it in. Lindsay thought about an NBA, and now will go off the bounce and off the glass. 7 for Bryce Lindsay. All 3 of his field goals have been twos.
He has a lot to his game.
Berman too deep under the backboard.
Usually he leads with his shoulder there, Berman, and would finish with his right hand. For some reason, he came to his left.
Perkins, nice setup. There's Brennan, first double-digit lead of the night for Villanova.
Pretty offense.
4 now for Duke Brennan in what's 9 minutes of action to go with 5 rebounds and, as you say, 3 assists. Schweiger airballed that. They're out of real estate. Jabril on the baseline.
Lindsay is showing everything. Head up, playing with his head up. Right there, eyes on the rim. Could be a trap right here. He ran away from the trap.
5 threes for Bryce Lindsay the other night. Said, you're going to come out all the way out to play me? I'll show it to you off the dribble. Now off the curl, and there's the triple. And that's a 30-second timeout for Grant Leonard, and rightfully so. Villanova threatening to bust this thing open.
So many of Villanova's baskets tonight are off of execution. They spend incredible amounts of time. Duke Brennan with a handoff. Lindsay realizing the defense went under, and he raises up. over the last 2 days, I can't tell you how many times Kevin Willard and his staff would say to the players, shoot the ball.
This is a bit of a loaded question. Who's the best shooter you ever saw in this building?
Wow.
You can get back to us on that one.
Wow. Yo, you got me.
They've had some good ones over the years. That Jenkins guy that won him a national title was pretty good.
He was pretty good. No doubt. Oh.
Parker fouled on the wheel. That goes on Duke Brennan. And free throws here for Parker.
All right, you ready? I got it. And ironically, his daughter just signed a national letter of intent to come play for the women's team here. Eric Ebers.
Oh, yeah.
Was maybe the, I gotta go out on a limb, best shooter. And by the way, he owns a pizza place in Drexel Hill, so media's not that far. Maybe I get a little pepperoni tonight?
He was managing the J.D. McGillicuddies back in the day, too. Brennan trying to bring the house down on the pavilion. Yeah, those were some good Cats teams. Kittles and Ebers, Lawson and Cordigay.
I'll even go this. Eric
Alvin
Ebers
Williams.
was from that Buffalo area. I think he went to McWade Jesuit. Fascinating guy. In the married a terrific Villanova player, Michelle Thornton, and now is a restaurant entrepreneur.
There you go.
And around here, you can only say it one way, in Delco.
Parker off the pick and roll. And Queens back to within 11. That stops what was a 12-2 Villanova run.
Queens looks like they backed off a little bit, Matt, where they're going to space Villanova because of the dribble drive.
Lewis with the shot clock cut in half. Haven't heard much from him since the early portion. There he is. Had 4 early points. That's his first field goal since.
Left-handed player finished right hand. Why? Skill development in this program.
Man composing himself under the basket. And back to 11 is the deficit. And Lewis getting tough again, shouldering right into Parker. Just went up into one of Queens' longest players. And Parker can't finish at the other end, but a whistle and a foul on Tafari Gapare. Well, it's always good to get the right transfers.
No question.
Duke Brennan's one of them, Phil Martelli.
Interior passing has been exquisite from Villanova tonight.
Now all Villanova here at the Pavilion. All Villanova here at the Pavilion. 33-20, Wildcats on top of Queens. And let's see how they've done it. Looking at Caden Lewis.
Drives. I'm so impressed with the Villanova players playing with their heads up. And it's always about the numbers. Villanova's taken 25 shots. Queens has only attempted 14 shots. So the fact that Villanova is shooting 60%, you're going to have this kind of spread. But I'm going to say it right now. The next 2.5 to 3 minutes, Queens has to bring this thing so that it has a last 4 minute into the half and they can regroup. Villanova's going to try to push this thing and maybe go beyond the speed limit to see if they can keep driving the ball at Queens.
Try and take the top off this building and make it an early Saturday night for the folks here. Avante Parker out of the timeout to the free throw line.
We're going to see some pressure here. If it's not a full court pressure, then we'll see the 1-3-1 again from Grant Leonard's team.
Grant Leonard, who you just saw roots in Division II, definitely waited his turn in terms of getting the Queens job. You started to ask him last night, do you charter? He said, charter bus.
Charter bus. That was a great answer.
Not in the A-Sun, Phil. Parker
This
trying to
action
beat him
for
to the corner, whistle and a foul here.
This action, Villanova does a lot of what they call empty. That means that there's an empty corner, so we're looking for a screen to come up on the outside of the floor, and the guy drives the ball to the empty corner. And now flip it around. Now we should see Villanova press off of these foul shots.
Lindsay takes care of the first. Productive first half for the two-time transfer from Texas A&M and James Madison. Such a good shooter that ended up breaking the freshman three-point record for James Madison program history last year. Pushes this back with a couple of free throws to 13. Larson back in with the two personals for Queens. Good D for the Cats. Jabril down low. Clark, someone's gonna have to be the bailout. It's Berman. Able to shed Lewis, got a good look at the three. And Perkins just too tough on the rebound. Lewis on the run out and the reverse.
Around the rim.
Largest lead grows for Kevin Willard and the Wildcats. And Clark a miss. Didn't even take 3 minutes. Lindsay right there through traffic. They're up 17.
He's going to try to get to the 4-minute mark. May have to get that second timeout in the first half here.
Queens has actually shot the ball okay, turned the ball over those 7 times. In large part because of the Cats' pressure. Here's a miss for Jabril.
Say that again about the Villanova defense.
Palmer, loose ball, and finally picked up. 63% first half for Villanova at this end. Perkins trying to add to it and can't. And out of bounds, back over to the visitors.
Villanova is doing a remarkable job sharing the ball. Why? Because everybody's running. A little bit of a drag action in the middle of the floor. That's where the big comes as a trailer. You go off his back. You really put pressure on the big for Queens to either be there or defend the roll.
There's Ashby, quick trigger from the corner.
That will not make anybody happy. That will be on the film tomorrow.
Well, and that was a product of what Grant Leonard told us. We're going to try and get the ball up the floor, get set.
Great point.
Haven't done that much tonight. Only his second three. Askew, rebound batted around, middle of the lane. Watford, drop off Larson, and a pair of free throws coming.
In situations like this, a lot of people talk about cut the score to 10. That's not how a coach really thinks. It's more the feel of the game. Can we get into this sense of, yeah, well, we have this. Right now, Queens is, their minds are moving too fast, their feet are moving too fast, and therefore they don't look as skilled as we know that they are. This is a beautiful thing. When you can get to the line, bring it down a notch. Now you have to do the same thing defensively. They've been backing up the whole half, and the ball just keeps coming at them. Still think a zone is going to be, we're going to see that zone before the end of the half.
Larson makes both. And a little mini run for Queens. This was a 17-point game. They've scored the last 5 after the Ashby 3 and the pair of free throws from Larson. 4-minute mark of the first half, alongside the former St. Joe's head coach Phil Martelli, Matt Martucci. Lewis misses the 3. Cats go one and done. Watford tees it up for Clark.
I'd like to have seen him take that ball on the dribble. Particularly, the next foul by Villanova gives Queens 2 foul shots.
Lindsay, tough angle, but will go to the line. It's been as many as 17 for Kevin Willard at Villanova. Bryce Lindsay, a big reason why. Already 14 points, Cats by 12.
Saw a crack and went in there.
Madison Square Garden, the home of the Big East tournament.
You guys have a chance to be part of the greatness.
Are you telling me there's no magic in this house tonight?
The best basketball conference in the country, bar none. That's why we came here.
Sir, it seems that the Gladiator is getting a lot of positive social sentiment.
Innovation changes everything. With one investment, you can access the NASDAQ 100 innovators who are rethinking the world. Before investing, carefully read and consider fund investment objectives, risks, charges, expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com.
Villanova by 12 here at the Pavilion. As we come back for game 1 of the Veteran Classic. Earlier in the week, Philadelphia Big 5 Hall of Fame announced its latest class. And throwing it back to a guy you coached against, Dante Cunningham, former Big East Most Improved Player as a senior. He's part of the City Series Hall of Fame.
And here's what to notice. In these pictures, look at his eyes.
And look who's behind him in that picture. That's Duke head coach John Shire.
Wow. Great pickup by you. Dante, before the term was glue guy, that's what he did. He did a little bit of everything. Most especially, he won. You should be honored when you win.
Yeah, 15-1 in the Big 5, was 9-4 in the NCAA tournament. Former Big 5 Rookie of the Year, and then enjoyed a nice pro career, 10 years in the NBA before finishing up in Europe. And credit to our producer, Mark Balk, for pointing out that that was John Shire. Bryce Lindsay out of the timeout here for the Cats. Well, much better night for you were talking about Caden Lewis during the break. He and Lindsay have really been a nice 1-2 punch in the backcourt.
Well, 24 of 39 is, that's quite a production. And Villanova's down a guard tonight.
Yeah, we talked about Chris Jeffrey, who had 11 in that opener against BYU. What'd you think of A.J. Debanza, by the way?
I thought it was Kevin Durant playing college basketball.
Right. Yeah,
we are seeing something here, Matt, that I don't know you will ever see again. Villanova has 5 guards on the floor. Jay Wright won national championships playing 4. I don't know if he ever played 5. This is going to be some matchup for Queens this last 3 minutes.
Well, you're up double digits. It's a good time to experiment, right?
That's one of the things Kevin talked to me about, that he hadn't had the chance because of injuries during the preseason to put different packages together. Big lineup, small lineup, zone lineup.
Yeah, they haven't had the full complement in practice. Lewis with the shot clock winding down. Welcome to the pavilion, young man.
The only thing I'm going to tell you is that had nothing to do with 5 guards. That had to do with skill.
13 for Caden Lewis. And Queens comes right back with a quick bucket.
Today's basketball, 5 out, take your man on the dribble.
Palmer got that blocked off the glass. Schweiger got it. Queens with a chance to get this to 10. And man, off the heel, gets it to stick. This is a program that a year ago had 9 true road wins and brought back 43% of its scoring. And they've hung in.
That first 18 minutes, if I'm an A-Sun coach, I'd be like, I'm worried a little bit.
Well, reminder, coming up at the half, memories of a great Villanovan, the late George Raveling. Some terrific pictures that you'll want to see, plus highlights and stats. That's our Jeep halftime report. Jeep, there's only one.
George Raveling originated recruiting, national recruiting. Well, I was not in the game at the time. I was very, very young, but everybody in Philadelphia knew he was going national. Howard Porter, Johnny Jones, they came from Florida to the main line. And it was all George Raveling. He almost invented recruiting.
And we'll talk more about him at the break. Can actually remember him coaching the guy they used to call Baby Jordan, Harold Miner.
Oh, yes.
At USC.
1-3-1 out of the timeout.
Again, using Jabril's length. Villanova shot clock inside 10. Askew with a nice flash. And got the jumper.
Lindsay playing with his head up through what we call a diagonal pass. That's where the 1-3-1 is vulnerable, when you throw diagonal.
Too much dribbling from the freshman Watford. Perkins, bucket, and the line. And just like that, 5 straight for Villanova. Or a chance at 5 straight.
Askew had cut from the baseline, caught the ball, and took his time. One of the things I would like our viewers to notice is when you see these breakouts, it's not just one Villanova jersey, it's 3 Villanova jerseys. They are all here tonight to run.
And boy, have they done it. 51 on the board. After only 66 in the entire 40 minutes against 8th-ranked BYU.
And a different environment, right?
You're right.
They talked to us, 16,000 people from BYU.
Basically a home game.
A different type of arena. You know what? Matt, I've always said this. Dorothy was so right in The Wizard of Oz. There's no place like home, and Villanova's showing us that tonight.
Yeah, and we have very much seen it come to fruition for the likes of a Caden Lewis in his first home game. Has already played the amount of time that they sat him. The final 15 minutes of that BYU game. 15 first half minutes here tonight, 13 points and a pair of rebounds, no turnovers.
We can't let this get by. Villanova's shooting 59%. Queens is shooting 55%.
They are.
It's the transition and the looseness with the ball.
Yeah, 16 points off turnovers for Villanova. A couple free throws by Berman bring them back to within 13. Queens gets the ball again, though. And just as quickly, Berman commits a foul. They lose it again. 9th turnover.
I thought that one of the things going in here was turnovers. 16 a game. 16 a game so far for Queens. They're too old, too cohesive a unit. They're going to have to take better care of the ball in their A-Sun, but also in this, we're going to talk about their schedule.
Well, and the other thing in today's college landscape, they're not just old, they have played together old. It's not new old, where you have a bunch of different guys just thrown together on a roster.
Another step forward. Another step forward for Lewis.
Got to make 2 in a row. This Nova lead at 14. Trying to balloon it a little bit going into the break. Queens, meanwhile, trying to get a good shot.
Switching up. The Villanova players are jumping up into the ball.
Here's Askew. Perkins trying to track that down, couldn't do it. And now if you're Queens, you can hold for the last shot.
And Perkins made an error. All basketball players out there, if the loose ball is below your knees, you must get on the floor. If the ball is above your knees, you must catch it, not dribble it. He tried to dribble a loose ball. You must catch a loose ball. Below your knees, on the floor, above your knees, catch it, and then proceed.
Shot clock off here for Queens.
Ashby's going to come up. Matt, we're going to see a ghost screen. That means he's going to run up, not set it.
And they use Watford off the dribble right to the rim. Perfectly executed. Lindsay. And that's a goaltend. Cats get the bucket right back. What a first half for Bryce Lindsay, whose career high is 28, 17 on the board for him already.
All of these straight line drives. Hit the board. Count the goal. There it is.
And Nathan Farrell and the rest of this crew going to review it just to be sure, but I don't think any doubt. Now, impressive first half for the Villanova backcourt. And 51 on the board for the Cats. They love it at Finneran Pavilion. Stats, highlights, and remembering George Raveling when we return. Very impressive first half for the Villanova Wildcats. 51-37 lead on visiting Queens to start the Finneran Classic here on the main line. And we say hello courtside. Matt Martucci, the former St. Joe's head coach, Phil Martelli. The college basketball world, the Villanova and Big East communities remember the life and legacy of George Raveling, who unfortunately, Phil, we ended up losing back in September. Somebody that just transcended basketball. Not just a player, not just a coach, but a humanitarian and an activist.
He did so many things for so many people, but I have to take you back. I think it's 1986. He's coaching Iowa. I'm an assistant coach at St. Joseph's. Far West Classic in Portland, Oregon. George Raveling came out on the court in a sweatsuit. Now we see it all the time. He had a sweatsuit. Not only that, he also had a coach all the way up top because he wanted to mimic football. He said football coordinators sit up top, and they would send down on a walkie-talkie. Now today it's legal. I don't think it was legal back then, but who was going to tell him that?
And a man whose legacy goes all the way back to attending the March on Washington, D.C., ended up face-to-face with Martin Luther King Jr. right after the I Have a Dream speech.
He was hired as a security guard. I think the number's right. It was either $5 or $8, a security guard, and was given the speech after it was over. Like, look, that's like Forrest Gump stuff, right? He's everywhere. The other thing that every coach and their families in America, he gave away, he got coaches paid by sneaker companies. George Raveling started that.
Yeah, pioneer in a lot of ways, and one of the coolest things after that Martin Luther King Jr. speech, the original copy of it is here. Villanova University is the steward of that speech.
He loved this university. He loved Philadelphia basketball, but most especially, he loved coaches.
Yeah, what a wonderful human being, and unfortunate to have lost George Raveling back in September. All Villanova here at the Pavilion. 14-point lead for the Cats. When we return, stats and highlights on our Jeep Halftime Report. Well, 6 days into the college basketball regular season, already feels like it's gone at warp speed through the city of Philadelphia. 14-point halftime lead for Villanova on top of Queens. And we're back courtside here at Finneran Pavilion. Matt Martucci, the former St. Joe's head coach, Phil Martelli. You said something just now at the table that stuck with me about the way Villanova has gotten after it. Wonderful pace.
Yeah, the pace is really good. The passing is exquisite. It's the dribble drive, but nothing seems forced. Kevin Willard spoke at length after practice yesterday that he was very concerned about the shot selection. Too quick. Everybody felt rushed, overwhelmed by the setting. Not tonight. They're very, very comfortable with this pace.
And early on, they got their bigs involved, and then the guards ended up following.
Well, Duke Brennan, as we said, was handling the ball, gave you a little Bill Walton, Wilt Chamberlain type of leading us with assists. All the while, that guard-centric offense is sitting and waiting. You reach, they go.
Yeah, big first half for Bryce Lindsey, 17 points on almost 6 of 9 shooting.
And a variety of shots. He comes in here making 5 threes against BYU. There's one. Why? Because of Brennan's activity, but the finish at the rim.
And you said it, looking at these numbers, it's not like Queens has shot the ball badly. Look at that, 57%. It's just Nova's gotten out on the break, and they've turned them over.
And you're always looking to circle a number as you're in there. 16 fast break points to 0. You can't play good enough half-court offense to make up for that number.
Those halftime stats presented by Jeep. Jeep, there's only one. Now, all Villanova here at the Pavilion. 51-37, Cats on top of Queens. And trying to start the home portion of their schedule off on a good note. We'll have plenty more coming from the main line. Get all of ESPN college basketball all in one place with the all-new ESPN app. Unlock with the ESPN Unlimited plan or log in with your TV provider. Now getting ready to start the second half here at Finneran Pavilion. Folks that have been here have been treated to what was a 58% first half. And double figures from their backcourt of Bryce Lindsey and Caden Lewis. Here's the James Madison transfer, Lindsey. 6 of 9 from the field. And has only had to do his scoring tonight, knocking down 1 triple after 5 the other night when they almost took down BYU.
And I think one of the things that they'll be proud of with the Villanova staff is no self-congratulations. We're not seeing a lot of gesturing. He has what someone calls a poker face. But because there has to be a certain excitement. You're at home in this building. This is a blue blood program, right? It's not, they didn't drive off the highway. Right. They made a little detour, and now you have a basketball coach in Kevin Willard who is going to demand that you measure up to the Villanova excellence.
And makes you wonder, do they hit the gas even harder in the second half because of that? All-around stat line for Duke Brennan, who really doesn't care how many points he scores.
Exactly what Kevin Willard said. He said to his coach, Duke Brennan said to his coach, I will play hard. You don't have to run any plays for me. I just want to be out there and impact winning. That's quite a statement in your first year in a program.
Played for one good coach in Bryce Drew, and now playing for another good one as we get a look at Kevin Willard. Don't want to oversell this, but how big is the opening possession if you're Queens? Down double digits in this environment.
It's this first stretch, this first 4-minute stretch.
Action to Avante Parker, and more of what they did in the first half. Lindsay got the steal and the bucket. 19 now for Lindsay. James Madison transfer, could be on his way to a career night. He's 9 shy.
And you pick up.
And they get another steal.
They see a quick timeout. They see one.
Quickly to Villanova's largest lead of 18, and a chance to add to it. Cats surging. Queens has totally come undone in 49 seconds.
Body language. 3 turnovers on 3 possessions. Make layups. It's a big deal in our game. We've made it harder at times because we don't make our layups.
Actually spent some time with Tyler Perkins at the Garden for Media Day and said to him, you know, I know there's a difference between the Ivy League and the Big East. It's still Division I college basketball. I said, but what was the biggest difference, biggest thing you learned? He said at this level in this league, every possession matters. And that was what I took away.
At both ends of the floor, too.
Yep. Berman set up Larson. Just couldn't get it to stick. Chance to bust this wide open. On a day where either scoring 100 or getting close to it was a staple across the Big East. Butler 112 points today. Providence ended up losing in overtime, ended up with 101, and St. John's almost got there in their loss to 15th ranked Alabama, but gave up 103 to the dismay of Rick Pitino.
Nothing like scoring the ball, Matt. I like scoring. I've always been a big fan of it.
It beats not scoring, that's for sure.
I don't know if anybody from the Coaches Association is listening, but they used to always hit with defense wins championships, and I thought, ain't nobody ever won a championship 2-0. You better score.
Lewis off the bounce has been so good tonight. Brennan couldn't get the jump hook, but guess what? Second chance.
And that pass from Lewis, that little dump in, was off what we call a duck in. A duck in is when you get below your defender and then step in front of him. Again, Villanova's practice, duck in after duck in after duck in with the big guys.
Nice curl there for Watford to the ball and got himself an open layup. He's going to be a pretty good player, or already might be.
Impressed with his growth this week. If you take the first game to Winthrop to the third game now, there's that duck in by Duke Brennan.
I mean,
that pursuit of the ball, he's a very good offensive rebounder.
I'm going to go back to something that we talked about at the top of our broadcast. Talented, deep, just need to get healthy. This Villanova team.
And this is a good mental health. Get healthy.
This is a get-right game.
Because you get there. They were down 14 in the second half against BYU. Took the lead. And the coaches were talking to me about 2 or 3 possessions, and they'll say, do you remember this one? Do you remember that one? And I had a little bit, but they were very tight on that.
Yeah, it was a couple of turnovers late, a Bryce Lindsey missed free throw. Otherwise, maybe you're talking about a different result against the team in BYU that looked like it could be Final Four good. I know what the ranking says, but they passed the eye test.
And the other thing that Villanova spent a lot of time on, we haven't seen it yet, is their 2-3 zone. They call it 25. So it's a zone man-to-man. And they missed an assignment the other night in BYU, and in the left corner, a big 3 from BYU. Maybe took the lead from 1 to 4, or took the lead from up 1 to down 2, but it was a missed assignment. They went over it today during walkthrough.
Well, haven't missed a whole lot of anything tonight at both ends of the floor. Forced Queens into 13 turnovers.
But again, Queens is shooting 56%.
Yeah, so
Villanova 55.6.
Yep.
They're out shooting Villanova percentage-wise. They just don't have enough attempts.
Lewis, 17-footer, spun it off. Guess who? Brennan on the tap. Double-double now for Duke Brennan.
3 straight buckets.
And he doesn't care about scoring, but he can do it if you need him to. 10 points, 13 rebounds now for the Grand Canyon transfer. Larson online. Queens needed that. 5 now for Gus Larson, who knows about playing at Villanova, haven't played at Penn.
They made a point today at their shoot-around with Gus Larson to say, look at that stroke. He's 1 for 6 from the foul line for the season, not with a stroke like that.
Yeah, I asked Grant Leonard about that. He wasn't exactly sure what to make of that. Brennan was able to get that off, and it did hit the rim. And Mann ended up tripped by Palmer. Well, it was 14 at the break. Villanova extending the lead. Cats win the first run, up big here on ESPN+.
Madison Square Garden, the home of the Big East tournament.
You guys have a chance to be part of the greatness.
Are you telling me there's no magic in this house tonight?
The best basketball conference in the country, bar none. That's why we came here.
Sir, it seems that the Gladiator is getting a lot of positive social sentiment.
Innovation changes everything. With one investment, you can access the NASDAQ 100 innovators who are rethinking the world. Before investing, carefully read and consider fund investment objectives, risks, charges, expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com.
Go. To move from one place to another.
Let's go again.
Good to go.
We should go.
Go Cats.
Go for it.
Keep going, keep going.
Let go.
3, 4, let's go. At Villanova University, go ahead. Our restless hearts, curious minds, and limitless drive propel us forward. Let's go! Ignite change, go Nova.
Big East men's basketball is brought to you by Jeep. Jeep, there's only one. Look at the trophy case here at Finneran Pavilion. Just saw Matty Segrist before. There's Colin Gillespie. They don't lose home openers in this building. Just doesn't happen.
I would bet Queens did not know that when they accepted this invitation.
14-3 in the building a year ago. And with 11 new players on the roster under Kevin Willard, knowing what we know about he and this coaching staff, efforting to make that a goose egg in the loss column this year. Yoav Berman with the step through here for Queens.
I think a tribute to Kevin Willard is that he accepts the history. Sometimes we run from the history thinking, well, I'll be the new guy, I'll be the sheriff, I'll create my way. But this is a special, special basketball program, and Kevin Willard embraces that. And also, the idea of being back in the Big East, there's a spark in his eye. When I was at Michigan, he was at Maryland. Maybe didn't feel that way in the Big Ten. But he can't wait to get up and down the East Coast here in the Big East.
Yeah, you miss every night feeling like you're going to war.
Wow.
And 12 years coaching against this system. That was part of the reason for the appeal. You get to see it a handful of times a year. Great find, Palmer to Brennan. After the Berman free throws, Villanova gets a bucket, back up 17.
Palmer got a lot of shout-outs from the staff about his defense and his passing ability. I've always thought that he was a shooter, and he does have a big-time stroke. Right there was a beautiful pass.
Yeah, one of 3 players in this rotation who followed Kevin Willard from Maryland. Berman, dangerous pass. Jabril had to double clutch with the shot clock winding down, and guess what? Brennan with a 15th rebound. I don't know, Phil, is that sustainable? 15 rebounds a game? He's done it twice.
As long as you play half-court defense, somebody has to rebound the other team's misses, right? BYU did not shoot the ball well. However, tonight, Queens, but they've only taken 27 shots.
They did a good job, did Villanova, early on, making them uncomfortable. They've turned them over 13 times, resulting in 21 points.
Hey!
Lindsay too deep, doesn't matter, there's Brennan again.
Might have to clear some space in that trophy room already for him. He's only been here 2 games.
Villanova, and hate to use this word, but murdering points in the paint. Up 26.
Downhill, downhill.
And now it's actually 28, 50 points in the paint for the Cats. Ashby likes that corner, there it is again.
Queens has an ability to get left corner jumpers. It sounds like crazy, but against Winthrop, they must have had 7 or 8 in the corner, sharing the ball, sliding to that position.
Well, what did they tell us last night? Because a lot of their stuff is run to the right side of the floor. A lot of the throwback action is to the left corner.
No doubt.
Palmer got stripped. And Berman
will not be happy with that possession.
Yeah, Berman might have missed an opportunity there. Feet under him for Jabril and missed the 3. Yeah, that's one they're going to want back. Line change here for the Cats after a brief breather for Caden Lewis. And Grant Leonard looking at Nasir Mann saying, hey, what happened there? Dev Askew back in for Villanova, the Long Beach State transfer. And gets to the bucket fairly easily. Free throw line trip coming for him.
I love on these penetrations that the Villanova players play with their heads up, and they're looking past first. You can't do that if your eyes are down. You have to play this game with your vision.
Ashby guilty of the foul. Devin Askew still one of those guys that's getting his feet under him a little bit, getting himself back to full health.
Interesting look for people right here to see where Kevin Willard's mind is and what he wants to pass on to his players. Will they press after this foul shot?
You don't get to find out. 1 of 2 for Askew. Watford gonna go right in, snuck that around Gapare, and then almost outfought him for the basketball. But you're not gonna outfight Tyler Perkins. Lewis forced the issue, whistle and a foul on Schweiger.
Two-foot stop and play through. When you have a defender off his feet, you play through his chest.
Yeah, it reminds me of something Jamal Mashburn said on the TV broadcast the other night about AJ DeBansa. He said, yeah, you know, you were doing that stuff. He said, yeah, I was doing it as a junior, not as a freshman. And give it some
so
time.
Much basketball. These young...
They'll be saying the same stuff about a Caden Lewis.
Yeah, this is going to be the year of the freshmen. When you look around the country, there are some that would say the young man at Michigan might be the only upperclassman on the first 2 All-American teams.
I believe it after watching Arizona's freshmen too. Lead for Villanova back to 18. It's been as many as 20. Not even at the halfway point here in the second half. Jabril caught up, and big shot for Schweiger. Back to 15 comes Queens.
In their scouting report defense, the whole thing Kevin Willard said was defend the 3. That was well defended. It was just a better shot. I used to say, that kid gets a scholarship too, so don't worry about it.
6th made 3 for Queens. 3rd one this half. Gapare gonna show the range. And Jabril able to knock that rebound out to the corner, and Ashby tracked it down. Ashby off the window, +1.
Breaking news, he shot a 2.
Saturday Night Bank.
Nice finish.
This is what we call an after-hours deposit for Chris Ashby.
We've seen a lot of creative finishes tonight. Add this to the list.
13-point game. Well, a blue blood program on the main line, but Duke and Villanova.
There we go. He pursues that basketball at both ends. Wonderful footwork, finding the soft spot in the defense on penetration and rolls off of the pick and roll.
Impressive home debut for Duke Brennan. It's just his second regular season game in a Villanova uniform. 14 points, 17 rebounds, and 50% from the field. You pointed out something to me, though, during the break. Only 2 made 3-point field goals for the Cats.
And they've missed 5 free throws.
Here's a miss from Ashby and Queens.
It's always important to know you have to come to practice tomorrow to get ready for the next one. And again, here's that 1-3-1. Grant Leonard said about 8 to 10 possessions. Usually see it after a free throw. And now they're man-to-man.
Lindsay was good in the first half, getting into the teeth of this Queens defense. Lewis, the step back, and the offensive rebound, Gapare. Foul on Schweiger here for Queens.
Jumping out, we've seen when Queens comes out of their 1-3-1, they get into a man-to-man, they're getting mismatched. Some of their bigger players are playing these penetrating guards. Villanova has done a really good job of reading that and then playing to their advantage in that situation.
Yeah, and I mean, you think about it, this is game 2. You haven't been healthy. You're still figuring out combinations. Imagine when you actually have your rotation set the way you want it.
And that's really what you want to use. November, you used to use December, but now there's league games in December. You have to be ready when the ball goes in the air for the Big East.
Yeah, you and I hadn't worked together in a broadcast setting before. I went back and watched one of the first Big East games you did. It was December 18th last year.
Matt, if you remember, I was nuts about playing basketball before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, now
I said, that doesn't make sense to me.
Now it's trick or treat, Phil.
Now, I get it. We've taken exhibition games and made them events.
I think it's going to be 2 years from now. The opener is going to be before Halloween. Jabril popped up, big shot. To again keep Queens.
Plays a little bit
striking distance.
He's played more confident as the week has gone on, Jabril.
Yeah, they need him to. Hadn't hit a three-pointer before tonight. Perkins with a miss, and Jabril trying to box out, but pushed Brennan out of the play.
We may have a look here at a hook and hold. Phil behind. Berman knows how to play. He knew his teammate would be behind him. So many times players penetrate and think the play has to be in front of them. Oftentimes in this game, where you just left is open.
Duke Brennan's been open a bunch tonight. Sometimes because of his rebounding and sometimes moving without the ball.
A 3 and we have a single-digit game. Who would have thought that?
Berman right to the basket. Shot clock cut in half. Man, gonna go right up into Berman, won the battle. Or into Brennan, excuse me. 10-point game.
Bucket here by Villanova. I think we'll see a timeout.
And foul on Ashby. Kevin Willard gets to Gapare. Up to the table.
Man, yep. I see Josh Hart. I also see he's not quite like his brother, but his brother gets paid a lot of money to make plays just like that.
The younger man has had a pretty good night, though. 12 here on the road. Lindsay takes care of the free throw. Push this back to 11. 22 now for Bryce Lindsay.
Matt, when you're in a position like this where you're coming from behind, I used to always measure it by how quickly we as the lead team could get into the one-on-one. That's going to be a problem because Queens is now going to give up 2 free throws for the next 9 minutes.
And here's Lewis with another chance. Instead, right to the basket, just shed Ashby. So strong.
It just stifles your ability to get back when the other team can go to the line. Villanova had hit a little lull. Now they get to the line. But yet, conversely, Villanova 5 team fouls. Step in that passing lane. Their finishes from all of their guards are worth studying for every young player out there. Study the way Villanova's perimeter players finish at the rim.
Schweiger, nice footwork, spinning into the lane. Maybe more of a game than the folks at the Pavilion anticipated. Hodge, haven't heard from him since the early portion. Back on the board. 10 for Matt Hodge.
Individual skill.
We're so glad to get him back after the NCAA approved his waiver. And right back, punch, counter punch. $14 for Nasir Mann. He now has the unfortunate proposition of guarding Lewis. Nova now the ones with the shot clock cut in half. Lewis, look at that improv across the lane.
Wow, wow, wow. I'm not sure I could have made that shot playing horse against my grandchildren.
And what a night for the freshman, 19 now. That was his 8th field goal. Cats trying to lock down. Berman got it off and got the bounce.
Matt, we're seeing some hoop here. We're seeing hoop back and forth.
And this has been a fun basketball game. And there's Lewis again.
I have great appreciation for Queen's body language. They were defeated at the first media timeout in the second half, and now they have, like, there's some juice.
They almost threw that away, but able to rescue the possession. Berman. And lost it out of bounds. In a game where Villanova has led by as many as 20, call this Phil Martelli the acumen of a Canaan.
Yeah, here we go. These finishes are terrific. The only thing missing is Clark. Get it? Lewis and Clark.
$79-65, Villanova by 14. Looking across the way at the Davis Center, where men's and women's basketball hold their practice facility. And an ode to the past. Yeah, Philadelphia Hall of Fame inductees, the 1985 Villanova Wildcats. You think the Cats shot the ball well tonight?
9 for 10 in the second half against Georgetown.
Yeah, 78% in that national title game as an 8th seed. Still the lowest one ever to win.
And again, talk about the Villanova spirit. I was at the event Thursday night when they went into Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame. Who was sitting at the table with them? Kevin Willard and Jay Wright.
Yeah, saw they took a nice photo afterwards. Harold Jensen, who was part of that team, is sitting about 2 seats to our right here at the Pavilion. April 1st, 1985. Askew missed the 3. And Brennan has
a friend of ours
around
also
every rebound.
A friend of ours was inducted. Many friends of ours, but Dick Girardi, legendary writer
for the Philadelphia Daily News. Congratulations, DJ.
Yep.
Did a lot of
Jeffrey
good work
Lurie
for a long time.
Was also inducted.
And if you wanted to go back to the Buddy Ryan Eagles, Clyde Simmons was on that inductee list as well. Brennan pushes this to a 15-point game. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of Rolly Massimino?
That game, because he was a maestro at that. But I have a personal story I had a daughter who was operated on when she was 3 years old with an enlarged gallbladder and bile duct and all that other stuff. I was assistant at St. Joseph's at the time, a bitter rivalry. She came out of surgery, went to ICU, went to her hospital room, 24 red roses from Rolly Massimino.
Wow. Yeah, now that's class personified.
There's also the other connection with Villanova. Very few people know this, but when I got married in 1976, none of the pictures were in color, by the way. It was all black and white camera pictures. My wife was an assistant women's coach at Villanova.
Well, more on that when we return. 15-point Villanova lead. Well, while we were reminiscing about Rolly Massimino and the '85 national championship team, trying to figure out whose basketball it is. That's why the crew is at the table. Let's take a look at this.
Wow.
And there's no angle coming toward the baseline. Tim Smith,
No,
who's one of the umpires,
asked us that.
came over. So going to be Villanova basketball. Well, and obviously one of the new rules in college basketball, you can't challenge.
And you lose your timeout.
If you win it, you get another challenge, and then that's your final. But yeah, lose, you go down to timeout.
And people have all talked about the mechanics of it for the referees and for the coaches to see how it works in these non-conference games.
Villanova in closeout mode. And what's been an almost 51% field goal percentage evening. Hodge will add to it with a three.
Freshman to freshman connection right there.
Only Villanova's third three of the night comes in a pretty big spot to push this back to an 18-point game. And good footwork, Parker wheeling around Brennan. We talked about it. They were picked to win the Atlantic Sun this year. No more Lenny Acuff coaching at Lipscomb.
That man can coach basketball.
Yes, he can. But their best player from a year ago is at Washington.
One of the things that you'll miss, like in watching the game, and everybody concentrates on the ball, the footwork from Villanova tonight, terrific. And it was worked on. First 7-8 minutes of practice, both yesterday and today's shoot around, they work on their footwork.
Ashby.
Well defended. They made him rush.
Yep. Yeah, has not had a ton of looks. That was only his 5th attempt of the night. And had been perfect up until that point. Said he watched Ray Allen. As a kid, his dad would show him YouTube videos of Ray Allen shooting. Bryce Lindsay, I'm sure watched a few videos himself.
Man made a mistake there. He chased the ball. You have to find your offensive responsibility. So he had Lewis on that. You turn and look, and then you go get the ball.
Lewis had Brennan, missed him. Hodge deep in the shot clock. That didn't hit any rim, so shot clock violation there on the Cats. Only the 8th turnover, though, and just the 3rd of this half.
Be interesting to see if Kevin Willard takes the last 4 minutes and looks at some other type of lineup. We've seen 5 smalls. We've seen 4 guards with Hodges at the 5.
Man with the three to bring this back to 13. 8th one now for Queens.
If they can add man as their third scorer,
they're going to be,
know Ashby
they'll be in
and
pretty
Berman.
good shape. Yeah. Oh, and they don't shy away either. They're going to be ready for conference play. The back end of their conference schedule. We were talking with Grant Leonard about it. As we get a foul here on
Matt,
Queens.
you're being a little bit easy on it. They'll be ready for the Atlantic Conference in the NBA after we talk about their schedule at the end.
We'll discuss it when we return. Villanova by 13 here on ESPN+.
Madison Square Garden. Madison Square Garden. Madison Square Garden, the home of the Big East tournament.
You guys have a chance to be part of the greatness.
Are you telling me there's no magic in this house tonight?
The best basketball conference in the country, bar none. That's why we came here.
Sir, it seems that the Gladiator is getting a lot of positive social sentiment.
Innovation changes everything. With one investment, you can access the NASDAQ 100 innovators who are rethinking the world. Before investing, carefully read and consider fund investment objectives, risks, charges, expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com.
Now winding it down here on the main line, Villanova has a 13-point lead. Queens seemingly refusing to go away. And quick turnaround for the Cats. And Phil, you and I will be right back here Tuesday night when the Sacred Heart Pioneers end up coming to town as part of this Finneran Classic. And then what will be Drew Joyce and Duquesne in what's a nationally televised game.
Then at Philadelphia, they're going to be going to 20th and Albany to play LaSalle, Old Dominion before Thanksgiving.
And we were talking about the back end of non-conference play for Queens on their side. They go to Wake Forest, Arkansas, and then Auburn to finish out the final 2 weeks of December.
And then you know what else is going on there? The players are in finals. That could be a challenge, or maybe it's post-finals prior to New Year. But that's a tough stretch. And Grant Leonard, to his credit, said last night, he doesn't worry about the players' academics. These guys take care of business. They are very, very mature.
Speaking of taking care of business, both free throws here for Villanova. Brennan got both. His monster night continues, 17 points, 19 rebounds for the Grand Canyon transfer who commits a foul here.
This would be for all of our Villanova historians. We may be looking at a 20-20. He could end up with 20 points and 20 rebounds. I wonder who that last player would have been. 20-20. John Pannone?
You would know better than I would.
Wow.
And normally we'd have a stats guy sitting to our left.
We have a lot of historians in this building, I guarantee it.
Larson's struggles at the free throw line continue.
Earlier in the half, he made a three. We could see from behind, it looked pretty. That foul shot did not look pretty. Too long a release.
Askew. Hodge, good look. Picture perfect. And that's a nice little exclamation point for Nova Nation.
Nice release.
16 for Hodge, 4 double-figure scores for the Cats. Oh yeah, Phil. The last 2020 guy was Eric Dixon. Silly us.
Wow. I can't believe he ran out of eligibility. What a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful young man.
Yeah, you're not kidding. And another tribute to their player development for sure.
Redshirted as a freshman. Ended up the all-time leading scorer in this program. To be celebrated.
Hodge and company with the shot clock winding down. Lindsay up on one. Hodge the offensive rebound and right up with it. Said, hey, Duke Brennan, I got 1 or 2 of these.
And he came into the game with no offensive rebounds.
And only his 2nd board of the night overall. By the way, Phil, his dad could do this a little bit.
More than a little bit. His dad played at Old Dominion and is an assistant at Old Dominion right now.
Yeah, former honorable mention All-American who you unfortunately had to scout at one point.
His younger brother has committed to Northwestern. Played for a Villanova special iconic player in Brian Lynch at St. Rose from Belgium.
But played high school ball
at St. Rose.
Yep, played in Jersey. Well, folks headed for the exits here on the main line. But Villanova doing, I think, what Kevin Willard wanted them to do here in the last couple of minutes, a 7-0 run.
To study. There's that duck in again for Brennan. Hits the roll on the glass. Always slide behind the defense when you can.
Yeah, when they put this all together, it could be a lot of fun. You think about when they get Zion Stanford healthy.
The idea, down 14 in that environment in Las Vegas on Monday, they came back to take the lead. That was special. Spoke volumes about them.
And Nathan Farrell maybe having to give
the
the Queens bench a warning. I can't tell you, once the Royals end up in conference play, as that got batted into the basket, they'll be ready. A program that has a lot of proud tradition. Was a D2 powerhouse for a long time before moving over to Division I.
Some Final Four appearances.
Yes, they did.
Division II.
And had quite a consecutive streak of winning seasons for a long time. And the last 7 years of Division II, they were nationally ranked in every single poll for 7 straight years, Queens.
Grant Leonard told me a story last night after their shoot-around. His first job was Washington College in Maryland, a Division III. And his head coach at the time called and asked if he could come watch practice. And the guy said, I remember your practices because everything was timed and everything stayed on time all the way through. And I thanked him for that because I did pride myself on running efficient, effective practices.
Meanwhile, curtain call for Duke Brennan to finish his night. Well, an impressive response. Didn't necessarily shoot the ball as well as they would have liked from the perimeter. But good to come home for Villanova. Askew right to the basket.
They've done a nice job attacking.
Now on a night where they led wire to wire. Man will get one more here for Queens. Impressive home debut for Caden Lewis. Villanova 94 up on the board to take care of Queens and win by 20 as Kevin Willard picks up his first victory as the Villanova head coach. Well, Phil Martelli saw what was a pretty good one for a while.
Oh, Saturday night in Philly, college basketball. Thank you, Matt.
And my absolute pleasure. For my broadcast partner, Phil Martelli, Matt Martucci saying so long here from Veteran Pavilion. Once again, your final score, Villanova 94-74. All games airing on the ESPN Network, streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN. Good night from the main line. We'll see you Tuesday.